Well, good morning, Goelzer National Area and everybody else in the world who hangs out with us on our Google Hangouts on Tuesday mornings. Welcome to the Cadillac Hangout on what is the date? Tuesday, September 6th. I hope you all had a fabulous, fabulous Labor Day weekend. And mine was great. Mine was great. I had a cold on Friday, but I got better and it was so awesome. So excited to be talking to you all. And I'm going to do a little bit of recognition. We got Trisha on the Hangout, as you can see in the corner. So excited about to hear from her, the conversation that she got to have with Senior National Sales Director Julia Burnett. She left a bit of it on a Voxer message for us, which was fantastic. But I wanted her to delve deeper and to take some more time because she is like a new woman. She's like, you're not going to recognize me in the next 6 to 12 months. So super excited about that. September 1st was her first day as a top director, so you're going to hear her thoughts about that. We are working to get Crystal Pounds on the line because she's going to share with us from chapters 5 and 6 of the Mary Kay Way. Loving that book, and we want to keep up with that. I had forgotten about it last week, so I apologize. And then Jamie Lopez has had a super switch, and so I know that it is so important to get people on the Hangout sharing with us immediately when their brain changes. So excited about that. But I'm going to give some recognition first. So here we go. First of all, our overall production was 112,000 wholesale for the month of August. Our goal this month, sisters, is to double that. Double. And I know some of you, it's going to be easy to double your production, and some of you, it's going to be some work to double that production, but that's the goal, is to double that production. So the directors who had over $5,000 in production last month was Cara Goelzer, Amanda Collins, and Susan Riordan. With over $6,400 in production, we had Kate Unger. With over $8,000 in production and her best month ever, the Terry Wilson unit. We are so excited for you, Terry. Oh my goodness, I know you watch this a little bit later as you get up Alaska time and have your coffee. And congratulations to Jamie Lopez, who also had over an $8,000 month. With over a $10,000 month, we had the Tammy Clout unit, and with over an $18,500 month, we had the Nikki Hill unit. Now, I do not have your qualifieds in yet. The computer is not up to date, so we do not have how your units are ranking according to qualified unit members, which is how you're going to be ranked this year for the best prizes and most recognition in the Goelzer National area. But it's just not together. And so we'll get that to you as soon as we can. With over $600 in personal wholesale orders, okay? You guys earning the Embracelet. And here is the new one right here. I think it got tangled up in my other ones, but here's the new Embracelet. Super excited. For this month already in September, congratulations, Trisha Bless. I see that you've already ordered it. Yay. Okay, I can see you, Crystal Pound. So I think that you are here. Welcome. Crystal, you might want to hit mute at the top of your picture. Okay, there's a little microphone button, and so if you want to hit mute on that, do you see that?
I'm looking.
Okay, you took your camera off right there. I can't see you, but I can still hear you.
Okay, I am trying to find this mute button.
Okay, well, you know what? You work on that. I don't think we don't have a lot of background noise, so we're okay. Sometimes it causes me to echo the person who's talking, but right now I think we're okay. All right, so I'm glad you got it. All right, so with a $600 order in for August now, who earned the Embracelets, we have Trisha Bless, Terry Wilson, Mary McIntosh, Jamie Lopez, Brandy Lampman, Amanda Collins, Tammy Clout, Kate Unger, Susan Riordan, Crystal Pounds, Nikki Hill, Becky Clemens, and Cara Goelzer. Hello, leading by example. All either stars or on target for star. Like I said, new unit members are not in tonight, but hopefully we'll have that in for the Hangout tonight. Most personal faces in the month of August is none other than Becky Clemens. Woohoo! Congratulations, Becky. She finished her perfect 10 with 50 faces, and so therefore she has earned the coaching call with Leah Carda. So congratulations to Becky Clemens for that. That's exciting. I will get out to you later on this week when you have the most faces as a sales director, who you will earn as a coaching call, who you will earn as a national sales director. And then you guys, perfect 6 winners. This is so exciting. Please have your people fill out that Google form by 1 p.m. today, if possible. Kim will send it out again, but we want to recognize your people who did perfect tracks, okay? Or who medaled or anything like that, because they get a coaching call with our top 10 sales directors. And that is powerful. It's powerful not only for the consultants, but it is also powerful for the directors who get to coach them. And I know, Trisha, you talked to Julia about that, and Julia contacted me immediately to say, what are you guys doing? So I think we got that idea from Supanko, actually. All right, so we're going to do it again. Every month, whoever does perfect 6 or higher, your consultants get to pick a top director in our national area, and that changes every month too. So we have to wait for those numbers to come in because it's based on your unit qualified who's in the top 10. Okay, so this is exciting. All right, now don't forget that your red jacket bonuses are this month. So when you have 3 or more reds in your unit by September 30th, okay, you get a $150 bonus for 3 and $50 for each additional. So don't forget that, you guys, both and. You're building your personal business and leaders. And then stars. The star quarter ends September 15th, having at least 5 or more stars. You've all talked to me about your star goal by September 15th. And that's super important because 13 stars by December 15th earns you the pate, okay? The party at leadership. That's exciting. All right, for court of sharing right now, this is what we have in the computer. With 2 personal qualifieds, we have Karis Borman, and Becky Clements. And then with 1 personal qualified, we have Jamie Lopez, Terry Wilson, Amanda Collins, and Trisha Bless. You all have 1 personal qualified. Now you have to pick. Not you have to. You get to pick. Are you going to choose simply to focus on the 2 qualifieds this month to keep your brain in a good place? Or are you going to focus on having 6 by the end of the month to be absolutely on target for the National Court of Sharing by the end of September? Okay, by the end of September. So you pick, but pick one place to win. Either 2 personal qualifieds no matter what, or having 6 personal qualifieds by the end of the month. For Court of Sales, we've got, with over 4,000 retail, Becky Clements, 4,047, Nikki Hill, 4,155, Trisha Bless, 4,422, Amanda Collins, 4,488, Karis Foreman, 4,839, and Susan Riordan, 6,387. To be officially on target for the National Court of Sales as of August 31st, it was 66.64. So Susan, you are like 300 retail off of officially being on target, okay? And then with On the Move, we have Becky Clements finishing this month. Becky, you only need 54, 56 wholesale and 1 personal qualifieds. Oh my goodness. Okay, once again, if you have not submitted your personal numbers or your unit has not submitted your numbers, as of this morning, we only had 6 people submit their numbers for the Google Hangout tonight with Carol Lawler. So please, 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 I'm reaching out to my unit members individually today through Voxer and text because they can check that at work with the link to be able to get in their numbers for tonight's hangout. We want to recognize you and your units, okay, people? It's important that they hear their names. Now, we started something last week, but nobody caught on. Nobody caught on. Okay, we have a new Google form for you as sales directors. It's going to go Monday through Sunday, and so Kim is getting out to you again. It's also going to be on the on the app under the director portion of it, okay? It's the same form every week that you're going to submit to my office by Monday at noon, and it's going to go Monday through Sunday. And what it's going to ask you questions about is your personal business, your personal parties, faces, interviews, new team members, and sales, and then your unit. So it's both and. But what it's going to do is you're already going to be tracking this, but it's going to help me work with you better on a weekly basis. And then at the bottom, it has a place for, is there anything you want to talk to Heidi about or anything you want Heidi to know? So that, hey, if you had a low week on the numbers there, you can say to me, hey, but this is what was happening behind the scenes, Heidi, okay? Or this is what I'm really excited about, or this is why this was so great. So please start working on that. And you know what? If you don't want to do that for some reason, that's totally fine. You are your own business person, but let me know. Because I'm going to assume that each and every one of you know that a tracked number grows, and that I'm going to, when we grow into this $150,000 gold circle national area onto diamond, onto inner, building offspring sales directors, it is going to take us being our very best. And this will help us be our very best. Okay, and then let's see. Our goal for September, like I said, is $200,000 in wholesale production. Beating last September, we're going to get that number out. I haven't had a chance to get that number. And 75 agreements. 75 agreements. This month it was ridiculously horrible. I think we had like 15 agreements for the entire national area. Okay, but the goal is 75 agreements, which is an average of 5 per unit. And I know a lot of you have the goal of 10. Girls, I want to give away those bangles at leadership. I want you to get those L Sparkle bangles. And how do you get that? By a 1666 wholesale and 2 personal qualified. That's one way in the same month. Or 10 new and 10,000, okay? So really, someone get the bangle. Someone get the bangle this month. All right. Now, for this month, we have Nikki Hill's unit has 3 new unit members right now. They're the only unit right now with any unit members in. 3 new. 1 is Nikki's personal. And with production over 1,000, we have Trisha Bless with 1,009, Amanda Collins with 2,300, and Nikki Hill with 2,590. And just a little thing, if you're going to the Wisconsin retreat, your people's housing form is due Friday, September 9th. The housing form is due before the registration is, okay? So it's very important because they will let our rooms go after Friday. And so if she gets another people that want our rooms in our hotel that we're staying in, she can give them away after the night. And so they will be charged 1 night's room stay at that time. But if they have their 4 roommates, it will be divided by 4 between them, okay? All right, so, and Goelzer area directors, you'll be staying in a house, so you don't fill out the housing form. If you're other directors, you will be staying in the hotel simply because some of the houses last year had mice in them, and we want to give you much better accommodations than that, so that's why, okay? Just so you know, I want to make it better for you. And let's see. Before we go on with Crystal, I know that Kim is working with Jamie Lopez to get her on this Hangout. Hopefully it's going to work. If not, we might FaceTime her in or something, okay? But we're going to start, before we start with Crystal talking about our book, I just wanted to address, you know, what has happened in our national area with Brianna stepping down from directorship in August or end of July, right? And then Becky deciding to step down, as you all heard from her Voxer message and her email to you, as of September 1st. And you know what? I'm reading this book, and it's really interesting. It's a book that a guy gave me at a restaurant in Lake Mills last Thursday night. So weird. Just a random event happened. I was out with dinner with my parents and with Tammy and Shelly after Anastasia's volleyball game because my parents had just returned from Texas, so we got to see them. And there was just a group of people hanging out, taking pictures in the corner, and I saw that one person was taking pictures of the other people, so I went and asked him, hey, do you want me to take your picture? What any of you would do, right? So afterwards, he comes over to me and he said, can I talk with you a second? I'm like, sure. He said, you know what, I'm an author, and I'm actually here, I'm from Chicago, but I'm in Madison. I'm here visiting some friends, but I'm in Madison for a book signing, and my book is about people who change the world by doing small right things for other people. And so he said, whenever I'm on tour and someone does something nice for me, I'd love to offer them my book and just say thank you for being kind, randomly being kind. Isn't that hilarious? So anyway, his name is Greg, and he signed the book for me, and it's just a little book. I'm reading it. And one of the things that said in the book this morning was, respect other people's dreams, even if they're not your own. Respect other people's dreams, even if they're not your own. And I thought that was so interesting as we were going to have this hangout this morning, that, you know, both Becky and Brianna decided to go back into teaching for now. Brianna full-time as a math teacher in a middle school, and Becky in her church school, where, you know what, guys, most of the people are immigrants. And it's so interesting because every single person on their staff at their Christian school does not speak Spanish. So these children are coming in from other countries, and they have a hard time communicating with their teachers, but the parents are sending them there because it's a great Christian education. Well, Becky will now be on staff, now part-time, but she speaks Spanish. And, you know, she's just so excited about how will God use her skills there, because, you guys, she came to Florida and really worked on her Spanish skills, not because of their church, but because of her Mary Kay. And so she has recruited, you know, Spanish-speaking women and really expanded her unit. But God used her time in Mary Kay, growing her, to be able to use her in this ministry. And, you know, really thinking at that this morning, as he said, respect other people's dreams. Are their dreams my dreams? No, they're not. But I'm going to respect them and be happy for them, and get excited about our dreams as a national area and about your dreams individually. And so, sisters, right now we have 16 units with mine, 15 units in our national area. That's our number right now. We want 20 by December 31st, and then 30 by the end of the seminar year. But 20 right now. And here's what I'm looking at. Can we have 5 on targets by October 1st? 5 on-target car drivers. You see, as I look at our national area, I see a lot of people who have held the perfect 6 in August, and some of them who held the perfect 6 in July, but they're excited, they're holding parties, they're getting it, they're getting excited. And so guys, I want you to look in your units and maybe not talk DIQ to them right now, but let's talk on-target car. And as I looked at our national area, I was like, oh my goodness, there's people holding parties that we can get excited about getting on target for their car in September, right? And maybe even going into DIQ by October 1st once that confidence gets built. But if not, going into DIQ by November 1st, and either going to New Orleans as a DIQ or as a 2-month, DIQ and into sales director. And so I handpicked 2 people from my unit. How did I pick them? They're communicating with me. They want my time. I'm not chasing them down. Remember that, what Amy Gamboyan said. Key people are never in hiding. So who is communicating with you? Who is showing up to Success Night? Who is registered for Pace Setters? Who is going to retreat? Who is hungry? That's the question. Who is hungry? And right now, in my unit of 125 people or so, I have 2 people right now who are hungry. 2 that I know of. I'm going to reach out to them and have a conversation with them about going on target for their car and what we can do, how I can support them in that, okay? Now, Megan Cruz is doing something very interesting. She's put herself back in a DIQ, like for real. She printed up the DIQ forms. She knows that she has 11 active team members going into September 1st. Okay, her goal is to gold medal this month and move 1 person to senior and 2 people to red from the new people that she's recruiting and do $8,000 in production. She is tracking it. And what is she doing every day? She pulled off the daily mental bath calendar. And so every day since September 1st, without missing a day, she has done her daily mental bath, and she is playing the game. And she is so excited because whatever her unit does, that's gravy. But her new DIQ team is going to do 8,000 this month and have 12 new unit members. She's playing the game. So if you don't have somebody who's on target for their car or can go on target for their car or is communicating with you or is holding parties, be it yourself. Be it yourself. How about you personally going on target for your car? You personally producing $5,000 in production with just you and the new, not your base. And then what if you had 1 other person that you could get doing with you? Are you kidding me? That's $10,000 in production, and your whole rest of your unit could just go to sleep for the month of September. I'm excited, and I'm personally taking the challenge to go on target for my car with $5,000 in production and 5 new people, okay? New people. So I want you to get excited about this. All right, so I'm excited. No one's going to steal my dreams because they're following their own dreams. Isn't that interesting? Nobody's going to steal my dreams because they're following different dreams. I'm ready to go have fun with this, and I hope that you are too. All right, Crystal Pounds, are you ready for this? We can see you. I think we can hear you. And would you please share about chapters 5 and 6 of the Mary Kay Way?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so life is funny in how you gave me the 2 chapters for this, because the first one is the art of listening, and I've really been focusing on the art of listening because of I tend to be ADD, so I get distracted very easily, and so I really took to heart to really read this and to write notes and stuff like that. And listening may be the most undervalued of all communication skills. We're taught in school to read, write, and to speak, but we're not taught how to listen. And so that was very interesting to me. And to just really, instead of, I'm the fixer, I want to fix everybody's problems. And so instead of me fixing problems, to really listen to my consultants And like Mary Kay says, they will come into her office and they would talk to her, and by the time they left, they've already figured out their own problems. And Heidi does that a lot, especially for me. And I can just talk it out, and that's what sometimes we need to do for our consultants. And I've really been working on that. And we've been given 2 ears for a reason, so that was pretty funny to just. We've heard this since we've gotten into Mary Kay, but I don't think we've ever, if we really take it to heart, to just listen. The other one, and listening will always be a top priority, and that we just need to listen, just flat out listen. But my favorite chapter is the sandwich every bit of criticism between 2 heavy layers of praise. And being a school teacher and having a principal who did not do that for me, like, this really touched my heart. And then that's what I did with my kids. You don't want to say every negative thing that they're doing. And that's what we need to do with our consultants as well. And she said, they need to know what they're doing wrong. And it's not even what they're doing wrong, but maybe what they're not doing correctly. But you don't call them out at meetings. Like, she said that one of her consultants had a messy kit. And instead of, just calling her out, she did a whole meeting about messy kits and how we need to look professional and stuff like that. And so that was a big, aha, instead of singling one person out, that's how you go about it. But another thing is that if somebody told you, especially like Mary Kay, her daughter said that the dress she was wearing made her look like a cow, and she said that she never wore that dress again. And so that was an aha moment for me, because I do the same thing. If Jason says, do you really want to wear that? I don't think I've ever worn it again, or if my hair looks a certain way or something like that, I don't do that. And so we have to really watch how we talk to people, and we have to give them praise too, because they're not always doing something negative. And I really have been working with that with my kids, is because if somebody yells at me, I shut down. And so, or if they say something negative, I always think it's me. So what I've been really trying, especially with my kids, is because I can snap off and be like, oh, why are you doing that? Why this? Why would you do that? I really have to think about, okay, I'm glad that you did clean up, but, let's not put trash underneath the bed or something like that, instead of just being like, oh, seriously, you know where the trash can is, kind of thing. And Mary Kay says never giving criticism without praise is a strict rule for her, and that is going to be my new rule. Not to, okay, just because somebody didn't do the follow-up game, or somebody might not have used closing sheets, say, you know what, you had a great attitude towards the entire skincare class. Maybe this time you should, try the follow-up game, and then be like, you did great at this, but always following up, because there's so much negativity in the world that we really need to fill it with some more praise. And that's what I've been really looking at for the last 2 months, is with all the negativity, is trying to find the positive, but still tweak, making sure my consultants know what they're doing or how they're doing it. There's one other, and it's, we take it personal, and that because that's how I am, and so that's why I really am working on not making people feel bad, because if I take it personally, then they probably are too. So that's what I've learned on those 2 chapters. Amazing stuff. This book is absolutely wonderful. So hope that helps.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah, it's awesome. And, you know, as you're reading this book, Crystal, as an overall, thought process, what are you thinking about Mary Kay the woman as you're reading this book again?
She was amazing the way she thought, and it's all about the people. It's all about other people and really listening to them, and it wasn't about her. It was all about others, and that is what, you know, when I was a director before, it was all about me. And this time being a director, I've really tried to focus on my girls and my units and other people because of that's what Mary Kay did. She focused on the other people and not herself.
Yeah, and it's so easy, right, to get self-absorbed. What do I need? What do I want instead of how can I serve? How can I truly serve? And, it's always, I want to just tell you guys this. It's always, it just goes back to what my national told me so many years ago. She said, when you're mad at your unit's too small. It is easier to serve people where they are truly when we have more people, you guys. It's just human nature when we have more people. And so if you tend to get frustrated with your team, and I do too, you know what? Seriously, I think it applies to as a national sales director as well. When you're mad at your area is too small. And so because it's a continual cycle, people are going to come and go. People are going to go through good times and bad times. They're going to be superstars and then life might happen. And so to truly, truly be able to not be disappointed in people, you guys, unit size matters. Unit size matters. Area size matters. And so being okay with that. Serving and building. Oh, that could be it. Serving and building. Serving and building. Those two things always at the same time. All right, Crystal Pounds, thank you so much. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to get Jamie Lopez on with a phone call, okay? And it's not working on her phone, and we're going to hope that my phone stays connected because I'm not having super good coverage in my office here. So we're going to see if we can get her on, okay? And then she's going to talk with us via speakerphone before we have Trisha. So it's ringing, so that's a good thing.
Good morning.
Hey, Jamie Lopez. Okay, you are my phone. She doesn't have an iPhone, you guys, so we don't have her on FaceTime. So we're just going to put her, put the phone up to my speaker. All right, good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
All right, girl, we want to hear from you, so go ahead.
Okay, so I'm sorry that I can't be live video feeding, but Heidi asked me to share with everybody what switches have happened for me and what culminated in the month of August last month. Basically, it all started for me in June when I called Heidi and I reached out and said, I need to talk to national sales directors who have done it within 18 months because I want to move fast. And I'm just done sitting around and, pretending I don't know what to do. And what I am doing is not working fast enough. So she advised me to reach out to Brittany Capps and Melody Fox. And I did that. And Melody got back to me right away. And I was able to glean some knowledge from her in her 40-hour-a-week plan. She talked to me specifically about recruiting in massive numbers, but that massive action starts with me personally being out in the field. And so I started by setting my schedule to 35 to 40 hours every week of concentrated time of booking, coaching, selling, sharing, having parties, being out in the field with anybody who was working in my unit, which really was nobody at the time. And so I didn't have anybody to book, coach, sell, or share to as many as I thought I did. And so I used that time to go out and meet new people. So I got up every morning, did my walk, did my Bible study, and got dressed and went out and started meeting people. From that, we barely hit production in June. We hit about just at 5,000 in production. But I felt good because I knew I had done what I said I was going to do. And in July, I went to our director meeting And the very first, I had committed to going back to my director meetings because I hadn't been plugging in to the leaders who in our local area who were moving up and who were going fast, or not even just going fast, but just going somewhere. I wasn't plugging in to what would be unit meetings or director meetings. So I recommitted to that and started going. And July, the very first one, I did not want to be there, had nothing to get recognized for, and it was all about me. And I was frustrated because I had done the work and barely hit production. But I went and got filled up, and they talked about eating your frog. Who ate their frog in June? And I was able to raise my hand and say I did that, because eating your frog is going back to what is the hardest thing to do, and are you doing that? And so I stood up and I talked about that, and I told them about the 35 to 40-hour work week and not getting any results yet. But I did it again in July, and we were at seminar, and I was in front of Christina Hernandez, and a lot of us were. But what Christina said to me, specifically, I went up to her and asked her what made the shift in her thinking. When did she think she could be a Cadillac sales director? When did she think that she could be a top sales director? And she said, I never thought I could. I just defaulted to work. And so that, again, solidified in my brain what Melody had told me in June. Or May, actually, because in June was when I implemented it. But that solidified what Melody told me. And so I defaulted to work. And even in July, I had already, being a seminar at the end of the month, I had already put in my 40 hours, my 35 to 40 hours every week in amongst birthdays, anniversaries, and seminar. And we did not hit production in July. We were like 3,700 in production and no new people. And I was just literally pulling teeth to try and keep myself from wanting to quit. Honestly, I wanted to quit because I was so frustrated that I wasn't getting results. But I knew that this was the path that God had put in front of me. This is what He had called me to do. This is where I was, and I was supposed to do something with this business. And also in July, while Josh and I were celebrating our anniversary, he said to me, basically, in a nicer way than this, but this is how I heard it, what is your problem? Like, why are you not successful? And what has happened? And, why are you settling for where you are? And he said, you are excellent in everything that you do. Like, you keep our house perfect. You're always taking the girls here and there, and you handle all of our bills. I mean, he basically was listing up that you work with the church, and you're teaching, and you're on the praise team. You're doing all these different things, and you do them so wonderfully, and you're great at all of them. Why are you not excelling in your business? And I was using all those other things as an excuse not to excel in Mary Kay. I was saying that I was being a good wife and a good mom and a good leader at church, and I was using that as an excuse to why I couldn't excel in Mary Kay. And so when I realized that was more in August, when we were sitting at the feet of Maureen Goelzer, who is a top director for years and years and years in the Phoenix area. I think she's the last director in this area that I know of to have earned a top director trip. And she was at our director meeting in August, and she said, we know what we need to do, we just fear the doing it. And she said, we use all these other things in our life as an excuse not to do what we know we need to do. And it really tugged at me, because that is exactly what I told Josh 2 weeks prior that I was doing. And she said, when I get to the point of pain, that means I'm winning. Maureen referred to like an athlete because the Olympics were coming up, and she referred to an athlete, and she said, athletes, when they get to the point of pain, that's when they know they're winning. And when you get to the point of pain in your business, then that is when you will be winning. And I had just come from what was very painful for me not to have hit any kind, not to have bonus at all. So I felt like, okay, that was a solidifying, okay, I'm winning because I'm at a point of pain. I'm doing the work, the 35 to 40 hours a week and not getting the results. So now August, that was at the director meeting. I still put in my 35 to 40 hours a week. And then Heidi came and we had a conversation, multiple conversations, some with Josh and some with him not here. But, he again said, no one is going to be surprised when you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
They're surprised that you're not succeeding. And he asked me if I would have signed up for directorship knowing that I would be struggling to hit production here 15 years later. And I told him, of course not. And he said, then stop doing that. He basically just said, you take control of your team and do it. And I felt like at that moment I wanted to punch him in the face because I knew that I had been, since June, I had taken control of my personal business, but the results weren't showing yet. And so they began to show in August as I started to really track my sales. And that's what was a huge win for me in August, was that I sold right about $2,200 in product. And that was the first time I've tracked it in a really long time. But I felt really great about that because I knew that I had paid all my bills for my expenses and still had extra. And then I also signed a personal team member on the Saturday before the end of the month. And we were able to work together to figure out a way to fund her full store. And so she came in with a $3,600, and that put us at 8,000, just over 8,000 in production for August. And while that is a wonderful win, I feel more accomplished about the personal work that I put in since June, which culminated into $2,200 in sales. And then the very first Saturday of September, I drove 2 hours to Tucson. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to go. I had a party booked with a 19-year-old girl who had bought the basic skincare set, but I went because I'm obedient to the work that's put in front of me. And I had booked it, and I wanted to be a woman of my word. And so Thursday, when I was checking in with that hostess, I said, we have one RSVP. Have you heard from any of these other girls? So she had given me a list of like 10 people. And she said, no, I haven't heard from any of those, but I'll work on getting some other people here. And when I showed up, she had her mom, her aunt, her grandmother, and her mom's best friend, all women in their late 30s to mid 40s, successful professional women, or grandma, of course, was higher than that. But they ended up purchasing $715 worth of product. Her mom is interested in the business, and I was able to, I was complimented on my professionalism. And so that is the biggest win for me of the whole process. The production is awesome, and I know more is coming because I'm working specifically with people who to debut stores now instead of just traveling around like a chicken with my head cut off going to anybody's party where there's skin. I've changed that madness, and I'm working specifically on my personals and then my new people's pearls. And that's my focus over the next till December, is to specifically work on my personals in recruiting to be on target for the National Court of Sharing, and also in personal sales to be on target for the National Court of Sales, because Christina Hernandez said, if you're not willing to do those two, then you're not a top sales director.
Yes. Yes.
You have to do those two. And so those things stuck with me, and that's my mission, is to focus on my personal work and then my new people's pearls. And anybody who wants to jump on the train and come with us, then that's going to be fabulous, and it's going to help us finish the trip. But I can do it myself if I have to.
phone. Hold on. Okay, I'm unmuted for everybody now. Jamie, what's awesome about this is I loved how you're sharing, because you did put in your 35 to 40 hours a week in June and July and did not yet see results. And yet you kept showing up, like you said, even though you didn't want to go to those director meetings. You showed up, you defaulted to work, like you heard from Christina Hernandez. A lot of it was confirmation of what you're already doing. But you know what? It's so dang true in this business. It is sometimes a 90-day cycle. And are we willing to work through those 90 days to see some results when we want it faster? And, you know, we're getting discouraged. But what I also love about you is that you're humble enough to be a great student, so that you reach up and learn and just go, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to grow my confidence. I'm going to grow my skills. I'm going to, you know, debut stores. I'm going to be the successful woman that I am and start acting like it in Mary Kay. Ah, I love it. Trisha Bless, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, please, and maybe just affirming Jamie here since you're on the line and telling us what you heard from Jamie.
Jamie, I loved just listening to the journey and the thought process behind it, because I know that every single person watching this has felt like you felt. And we always have a choice when we get to that point. I'm going to talk about that too. And I love how you sought out the people that were doing what you wanted to do, who were representing the characteristics that you wanted to represent so that you could grow and make yourself better. So thank you for leading us with that example.
Thank you.
So Jamie, do you want me to keep you on speaker here, or are you going to watch it from another place or later, or what do you want me to do?
I'll get back on the Hangout so
Okay.
I can see everybody.
All right, sister, thank you so much for your example. Triple star, baby. Triple star with Trip. Taking Josh to Alaska. Love it. All right. Bye, Jamie. All right, and Trisha Bless, we're going to close up our Google Hangout today with your fabulousness. So go ahead.
Thanks. Thanks, Heidi. Okay, so I did share a piece of this, but I want to give a little bit of backstory first. My 5-year anniversary of Mary Kay was September 1st. And for the last probably 3 or 4 months, I had been looking at that as a pretty significant crossroads. Was I going to quit or was I going to grow? That's really where I was at in my head. And I had to say quit or grow, because those are really the choices. I can say, you know, I'm going to be better. I can say I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve that. But really all I can control is how I think and what action I take based on my thinking. And I knew that needed to grow. So I decided to grow, thank goodness. And I worked while I wondered. And so, you know, I saw the faces, I was in front of people, I did my power starts, the things we're supposed to do, even though I wasn't sure what growing meant exactly. What was I trying to grow? And so I'm going to be honest, I just by chance earned the Julia thing, the coaching call Julia, because I wasn't tracking it. I think I figured it out the last week of the month when Cara said something. I'm like, oh, I should probably try to earn that. And that was God. That was absolutely God, because he knew I needed to talk with her. He knew that she was going to be the one to teach me what growing meant. And I was just blown away. So we had our call Friday, and a couple days before, she sent me a few questions, and they were the basic, what are you most excited about? What challenges do you see? I liked this question. What opportunities do you see for yourself in the next week? I thought that was a great question. And I've been using that question with my consultants, actually. And then the last thing was, what do you want to focus on? And so I way overthought my responses to that and worried about them incessantly, which was silly. But my thought was, I just want to make the most of this time. I just want to make the most of this time because I knew it was important. So we got on the phone and we started out with some of the basics of, you know, those questions and just getting to know each other a little bit, because of course she didn't know me, and hearing my story. And before too long, she's like, okay, what do you really want to talk about? And I said, okay, I think it's really not that I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what to do, or even that I don't have the right people to do it with. There's something in my head. And she's like, yep, it's not your work ethic, it's not your skills. I can hear that already. You know, you've been amazing before, so why aren't you being amazing now? I'm like, I don't know. And then I said, I know what you're going to say. If I did know, what would I say? So let me think about that. And she laughed. And we came to a pretty significant thought. And that was that I have not been tapping into people I know. I have been trying to work only with people I don't know right now, because I don't want people I know to feel sorry for me. And so we spent some time on that, about why that was. And not even because of like the state of my business, but just my life. Because my life is full right now. I have a lot on my plate. That's okay. I can handle that. So we spent some time on that, and we actually worked on writing a kind of a standard statement that I can use when I can hear someone get that voice or have that look on their face of, I'm going to use pity as the word because I don't have a better one, because I don't want pity parties. That's not what I'm about. And so we worked on that a little bit, and I still have to craft it a little better, but that opened up my brain to be able to think about who am I not in front of that I already know is fabulous, that has great connections, that I just have left untapped out of fear and out of worry of being embarrassed, I guess. So we got over that hurdle, which was significant. And then she shared some stories with me. And if you've heard her transformation speech that she's given before, there's some pieces from that we focused on specifically. And she talked about when she studied the word courage for a whole year. And she said, and I said, well, I have a word this year. My word is abundance. And she said, what would it, we talked about what would it look like if I studied abundance? And she really helped me craft a syllabus. I have a year-long lesson plan essentially for studying abundance. Books I'm going to read, people I'm going to listen to on CD or speeches that I am aware of, people that I want to talk to, people that I want to observe. Jamie mentioned Christina. I want to observe her some more. I want to watch more about how Nikki talks and works and does things because she's a top director. So just, things like that. How to visualize better and what that looks like. And, spending time, allowing myself time for that every day. Because I have a million excuses why I don't allow myself study time, why I don't allow myself growth time. I do some quiet time in the morning and then I have to get on with my day because there's 7 million things to do. And so I spent some time over this weekend rearranging my physical space, talking with my husband about things I wasn't going to be doing in the morning anymore because I know that's when I need to do my studying because that's when my brain is ready to receive it the best. And so that's an adjustment because we're used to hanging out and watching the news and drinking coffee and talking and whatever. But she said, what do you want? What do you want at the end of this study period? And I said, I don't want to recognize myself. I want to be someone totally different than I've been, not as a person, but in what my confidence and my thinking allows me to achieve and to receive in my life. I mean, I'm closing the door to so many opportunities because I'm thinking small, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so this is what she said. She said, well, the world is going to brainwash you anyway. So you have a choice. Do you want the world and society to feed you what they want you to hear and see and think? Or do you want to take control of it and do it yourself? And I'm like, well, of course I want to do it myself. I don't want to be brainwashed with negativity. I want to be brainwashed with abundance and generosity and thankfulness. And so that was a big decision moment for me. And we talked about like even little technical details of what that study would look like. Having packs of index cards. And whenever you find something or hear something or hear a quote or whatever, write it on the index card and carry those things around and go through them like flashcards. And she said, write down your power statements, put them in a sheet protector and stick them in the shower on the wall. What else are you doing in there besides washing your hair anyway? She's so right. So it's like, we are constantly being influenced by society and the environment around us. So you have a choice about what are you going to filter through there. And the more things you make a conscious decision to put in your space, the less all the negativity and garbage and other noise has room to get in. And that was huge. And then the last thing we talked about is she did the whole, when was a time when you were powerful, helping me remember things, and we've all done this, that I did in Mary Kay that made me feel successful and outside of Mary Kay that made me feel successful. And she said, okay, so this is what I know about you. You're a badass already, so bring back your inner badass. Why'd you squish her? I mean, she is great. So I have that all over my office now too. But it was just, it's not things that I haven't heard before, you guys. It was just, I think, a different voice using maybe different words to say the same message. And it just was so impactful that probably the biggest lesson I took from all of this is I will never waste an opportunity to be in the space of someone else again. Whether it's trying to earn coaching calls like this, and I know there's competition for one, I get it. Whether it's being at an event, a workshop, retreat, leadership, being at the party so you can sit at a table with someone, when I go to director meetings or go to anywhere talking to people other than just our little family who I know have more and different insights than maybe we have. And so part of my affirmation is that I'm open to the influence of my mentors, but I need to expand who that is. So I'm excited about that too. So that's kind of the biggest things I learned from that 50 minutes. I told Heidi it was probably the most pivotal 50 minutes of my career.
Yeah, I mean, it was so awesome. I took, pages of notes on each and every one of you. I loved what you said. My two choices are quit or grow. But then how you got to have a conversation with Julia about growing and how you're going to grow. And like you said, a syllabus of studying abundance, because that's your word. And you ordered 3 books over the weekend to grow yourself. And the world is going to brainwash you. And Julie is really, really, really big on this. Is like, what am I telling myself? How am I changing my thoughts? Because it's a fight, you guys. It's a fight. And even our friends, our well-meaning friends. I had friends over for the weekend, Trisha, and they were being negative about things that I'm like, oh my goodness, that's not who I am. I am not that person. I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight for change and fight for better and not accept the status quo and not give up. Just those things. But that's like you said, that's brainwashing because the world takes us the other way. So Trisha, what would you say as we end up our call today, end up our Google Hangout? What would you encourage your sister directors to do? If you could end with one thought, of encouragement, what would that be?
Find something to study and immerse yourself in it to help you grow. I think growing is more important than anything else we can do in this business.
Absolutely. There you go. Well said, my friends. Wow. Don't you love it when we get to be smarter? And today, all 3 of you have made each and every one of us smarter. And so you guys grow, intentional growth. That is my phrase for the year, intentional growth, in front of me right there. And so you guys grow into your dreams. That's our national area's motto. And so grow yourself, as Trisha said, and then be willing to lead others. Be willing to be a servant leader, like Mary Kay said and Crystal reminded us of today. And don't give up. It's messy in the middle. It's messy in the middle. So you guys keep fighting through. It's worth it. And we're going to have our best September ever. As you have your best Septembers, going on target for your cars personally, taking that responsibility and encouraging and mentoring others to do that too. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I will see you guys on the Google Hangout tonight. Even if you can't watch it live, I know you'll watch it recorded at 8 p.m. Central Time. We have National Sales Director Carol Lawler on that call. Like Trisha said, being in the space of other mentors. They say something differently. They have different personalities. They will encourage us. I love Carol Lawler, so please support her and get on that Google Hangout tonight. And then in Wisconsin, we have our Moving Up night tomorrow night, which we are intentionally being fabulous at, intentionally. And then, of course, registering for the retreats, you guys. And I get to be in Texas to hang out with 6 of my favorite directors in the Texas area this weekend. So, wow, what a fabulous, fabulous day to be the best version of you. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. Bye.